Hey guys, this is Danny and Giacomo from VeganProteins.com, and we are making a video for you guys to let you know that we have some big news, and it is that Vegan Proteins supplement store is closing. This wasn't an easy decision to make at all, and it's something we've thought about probably for like the last 2 years or so, and just more seriously in the last 6 months, and that is what we decided to do. And we wanted to make this video to thank everybody who has supported us over the last 9 years that we have had the supplement store. It has just been amazing, the outpouring of support from the community all these years.
Yeah, it's been an awful lot of fun to package up orders and to draw silly little designs. I mean, I'm still not a very good artist, but I do enjoy drawing stick figures on your orders. And I will miss that. I'll miss lots of things about our store. But at this point, you know, looking at the way things have gone over the past 10 years, I would say that we've done a lot of good, and we've managed to get the word out there that vegan supplementation is not only a thing, it's preferred.
I mean, back when we started VeganProteins.com, I'm sure not many people remember this, but it actually started as a fundraiser. It was never intended to be an actual retail store. That's not how it started at all. It was a fundraiser for a documentary that unfortunately didn't come out, but lots of other good things have come from that documentary not coming out, actually, including Plant Built. Yeah. But back then, it was like almost impossible to find plant-based protein powder, and we kind of, Vegan Proteins was a kind of tongue-in-cheek joke about the question we always get, which is, where do you get your protein? And we started with Sun Warrior, and very shortly thereafter we added Vega, and then once it was decided the documentary wasn't going to come out, people said, hey, don't shut down your fundraiser, like, we want to keep getting protein from you. So we continued to expand it because it was a hole in the community, basically, of being able to find these vegan supplements, you know, where people would live in like food deserts and not be able to find almost anything. And even we lived in Portland, Oregon at the time, which is a pretty crunchy place to live, and it was even kind of challenging to find stuff there. So that is how Vegan Proteins was born, but a lot has changed in the last 9 years.
And that's something to be thankful for. You know, I guess, you know, it's hindsight is 20/20, but honestly, I never would have imagined in a million years that you could literally find vegan supplements everywhere. Maybe not like exactly what you're looking for, but just imagine, you know, going to like, say, your local drugstore and being able to find a vegan protein powder there.
Which you can. Now, you can walk into almost any CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and be able to find these things that were like super specialty items 9 years ago. And that really, really speaks to how far veganism has come since VeganProteins.com opened. And this is like a wonderful thing in the grand scheme of things, and has always been our goal from the get-go, is to make veganism just more accessible to more people. And now, you know, almost 10 years later, it is accessible to almost anybody with, you know, you can buy these things, the same things, similar things to what we carry on Amazon.com. And unfortunately, Vegan Proteins is just the two of us. It's always been just the two of us, and we can't compete with Amazon.com, and we're not going to try to when we feel like we could better serve the community elsewhere at this point. And we have, you know, helped highlight a lot of new products from really, really wonderful companies like Clean Machine, Elevate Nutrition, Fit Quick, Protes, so many more obscure products that have come out in the last few years that we do want to see continue to grow. And we really hope that they do continue to grow, and even as we close out the store, we're still going to leave links up on the site for people to be able to find those things, because they still exist. We're just not going to be carrying them anymore.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention, actually. You know, I feel like, you know, it must have been comforting to have our store as a place, and, you know, to sell products for newer and small vegan vendors. And at the time, many years ago, when these vendors first started to come out, I could understand, you know, just how important it was to have the shop open back then. But nowadays, I mean, there is so much opportunity because, you know, not only are vegan products being welcomed everywhere, I mean, people are continuing to look for them. Veganism is growing like crazy. So, you know, for all those creators of vegan supplements and products, like the fact that we're closing, it doesn't mean that we feel like there's not a market for you. It's quite the opposite.
The market is too big for us.
Bigger than ever.
Point. And that, it's interesting, you know, we see a lot of these smaller vegan companies get bought out by bigger non-vegan companies, and it's kind of a double-edged sword because you want to support the vegan industry and you want to support vegan creators, and you don't want to support like Tyson Foods, for example, with the Beyond Meat thing that happened recently. But at the same time, you want so badly to see veganism become super normalized, and that is kind of what's happening. So although we're sad that our store no longer serves the purpose that it once did, we're also happy that it doesn't have to. But we are still very much passionate about this community, the vegan fitness community specifically. And for the last 5 years, I've been coaching people online, and that's been growing and growing, and it's my true passion. That's what I spend most of my time doing. And in the past year or so, Giacomo has come on board with me and begun coaching people as well. So we're going to focus our energies back on that, and try to continue to foster community in this really niche community of vegan fitness, and specifically in strength sports. And also, you know, between the coaching and the store, we've had to focus all of our energies on that. And what that does is it really takes away from time that we could be creating content for people. Many of you know we have the podcast Muscles by Brussels out, and it has just been very hard to keep up with that because we always have all these balls in the air. And we want to be able to create blogs, podcasts, maybe even venture into YouTube. We haven't decided yet, but we've gotten a lot of requests. I don't know if I'm brave enough for
Those
that.
comments can be kind of brutal. So like some 14-year-old typer in the computer, die!
Yeah, I don't know. But we do want to continue to create content and just become more active in the community itself. Again, even online, we've had to take big steps back from social media because it's very time consuming. But where the store isn't necessarily what the community needs at the moment, we want to focus on what the community does still need. And I think that the community needs more of a supportive environment and a lot of solid information being put out, because there's a lot of wishy-washy information that gets put out. And from afar, just even watching social media, some of it's pretty cringeworthy, and I've talked to some of our friends about that, and you know, people say, you know, well, you know, you can't complain about the information being put out being cringeworthy if you're not willing to put out better information. And that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to spend our time doing. So VeganProteins as a company is not going anywhere. We will still be around. We will be probably more active than ever, but we just aren't going to have the supplement store anymore. So again, thank you to everybody for your overwhelming support over the past 9 and change years. It has really meant the world to us, and without your support, the coaching wouldn't be a thing. The podcast wouldn't be a thing, and probably more than anything, Plant Built, Team Plant Built would not be a thing had VeganProteins not had the support that it had going along for the last 9 years.
Yeah, and I guess in closing, what I want to say, you know, aside from how excited I am about this next chapter, and how we'll be, you know, more active within the community again, is just how important community is to us. Before we were a store, before we were anything, Danny and I met on a forum. Some of you might be familiar with it still. Some of the old-time vegans, veganbodybuilding.com, and
Pre-Facebook.
Pre-Facebook,
pre-MySpace. Pre-MySpace? Ooh.
What? Are we doing ourselves? Ouch. Hope people still watch us. But anyway, yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is community has always been and will always continue to be the most important thing to us, and I am very much so looking forward to getting back to that as my main priority. And yeah, so I look forward to seeing you guys out there and continuing to create resources and content and info that will bring us together.
Yeah, so even though Vegan Proteins, the store, is disappearing, consider Danny and Giacomo kind of re-emerging into the community and into the conversations and things like that are happening. So thanks again, guys. It's been wonderful, and we'll see you around.
Yeah.